All right, let's move on away from the game and let's look at what Belichick just said yesterday on WEEI with OMF. And what has been happening so far this year, it's been fascinating, Greg. Belichick has been more honest, more upfront, and more talky than he's ever been in the last 20 plus years. I mean, he has even going back to Julian Edelman and the injury to Edelman last week on Friday, I think it was, he's talking to the media, and he even goes deeper into that situation than he usually does. He talks about how Julian's probably going to be out for a while, and even kind of casts doubt whether or not they can replace Edelman and what he does for the team and how much of a warrior he is. Belichick's been awful chatty. The first thing I've got to ask you about is just what he said on OMF yesterday about the salary cap. Your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, my reaction to, all of it, from the Charlie Weiss interview with SiriusXM to what he said on EEI on Monday is just like, it's not the full truth. It's not a full accounting. Like, people could say, oh, well, Belichick's being honest. Well, he's not, because he stops short of, he could say, all right, well, the salary cap prevented us from doing X, Y, and Z. And by the way, you talked about like why, he's doing it now. He's talking a lot. Like, why is that? It's because he used to be able to let the results speak for themselves.
Right.
You used to say they used to say everything. I mean, as long as they were winning,
you don't have to explain much if you're winning a lot of games and you're in the middle of the
Look at the scoreboard.
Yep.
You got a criticism about my play calling or my personnel. Look at the scoreboard. We're 6-1. We're 7-0. Like, I don't have to answer any questions. The results speak for themselves. Now the results don't say anything other than the Patriots are losers at this point in time. But that's the reason why he's talking. By the way, I was telling this to my wife the other day. I was like, oh my God, this is like covering the Dolphins or the Cowboys again, where like, Jerry Jones is going on radio every week. And like, is Belichick going to get a weekly nighttime spot or something like that? Like at a local sports bar because it's like I have to monitor all of his appearances now because I don't know what he's going to say. Suddenly the guy who never said anything for 20 years, you don't know what he's going to say when he's on.
He's saying everything.
It's like,
he went from nothing.
He's like Jerry Jones. But I thought the comments overall are just, they're a bunch of half truths. Like, has the salary cap been an issue? Yes. Did they sell out the past, quote unquote, sell out the past couple of years or, past 6 or 7 years to get some Super Bowls? Yeah, to a certain extent, you could say that, depending on what you're looking at in terms of trades that they've made and things like that. But he leaves out the essential point is, well, why did you have to do that? And the reason why is because they drafted poorly. And they didn't have any influx of young, cheap talent. So they had to offset that. And we've talked about it for years. All of us who are honest about the Patriots, who don't just say, oh, well, they win, so let's not say anything about the team. Those of us who keep check on the team have said, well, this is fine and all, but at some point those bills are going to come due. And what I heard from Bill yesterday, and this was the crux of my column at BostonSportsJournal.com, which was, for 20 years, the Patriots were special because they had sustained excellence that no one has ever done in any team sport with a salary cap. That's why they were special. Year in, year out, it didn't matter. They won. You never see that. Almost every other team will climb the top of the mountain, but they sold out to get there. And then they go through mediocrity before they get back, if they ever do. That never happened to the Patriots. Every year, like clockwork, the Patriots were a contender. And that was the special thing about them. And it's the thing we'll talk about them for years, for 50, 100 years. We'll talk about what this 20-year run was about and put it in perspective, and no one will ever match it. But what Belichick is essentially saying now, what I heard the other day when I listened to it, was now the Patriots are just like any other team. They are no longer special. They are now in the, we sold out. The salary cap has hamstrung us. Now we got to suck for a year or two. We're just like the Ravens. We're just like the Steelers. We're just like every other team. So in my mind, the dynasty as we knew it, the Patriots being winners year in and year out. That is over now because of the personnel failings in the draft. I also laid out, God, the countless number of trades that they've made that just have, whether it was Antonio Brown signing or Mohamed Sanu, Josh Gordon trading Jacoby Brissett for Philip Dorsett, all because you couldn't draft a wide receiver ever. I mean, you have to trade picks for Danny Shelton and Bo Allen, or sign Bo Allen, because you couldn't draft a defensive tackle. I mean, Lawrence Guy, they signed in free agency, great signing, but they had to sign him. That's an expensive guy, more expensive than the draft. I mean, at end, they had to trade for Coney Ealy and Michael Bennett because they couldn't develop any edge guys. At tight end, they had to trade picks for Dwayne Allen and Martellus Bennett because they never drafted any tight ends after Aaron Hernandez was indicted for murder. I mean, it's the draft, it's the trades. Did they sell out? Yeah, but there's a reason, because of their personnel failings.